All right, here with the head women's basketball coach, Michelle Bento-Jackson. First press conference of 2024. Coach, welcome back home. I bet you're excited to be back home this week.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah, obviously this was a really tough stretch of our schedule. We had 5 games in a row 5 road games in a row, and I think it's been just about a month now since we've played in Lumberjack Arena. So not just us coaches, but us players, the players as well, we're pretty excited to get in Lumberjack Arena on Thursday night.
And you ended that road streak with a win after 4 straight losses. How nice was it just to get that first win in 2024 and kind of cleanse yourself coming home?
Yeah, certainly it was. I mean, obviously, overall in that 5-game stretch, it was a little disappointing because we felt like we let a couple of those go. I really felt like we could have been 3-2 in that stretch of games that we were, and I don't even mean pre those games. I'm just talking about those games that we were actually had the lead, or all we had to do was finish it in the fourth quarter. We know we could have been 3-2. So that from that standpoint, it was disappointing. Yes, however, we were very happy to get the win at San Francisco State, and most importantly, I was just really proud of the girls for. They executed our defensive game plan really, really well, probably the best that we have so far this year. So hopefully that means they're getting a little bit more of an understanding of just the importance of details and how we need to apply that come game time.
And how nice was it for the team just to kind of see it all come together? I mean, one of your guys' best offensive outputs in conference schedule this year, as well as the best defensive performance since 2012 for the program.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for you guys?
Well, obviously that's huge. We've struggled scoring offensively. So as you mentioned, and for me, I'm always putting the emphasis on the defensive end. You know, you can't always control offensive nights, and you know that last game was just it was a great night for us on both ends of the floor. And obviously, you know, everyone's happy when that happens. But we do need to get more consistent, both offensively as far as just sharing the ball and getting more people to be a little bit more productive for us on the offensive end. But at the end of the day, we certainly have to rely on our defense.
And just to kind of optimize your guys' offensive output for the rest of the season, do you think it goes to ball movement, or what are some specifics that you're looking for to improve the team's offense?
I mean, ball movement is certainly one thing. Spacing on the floor, we've been talking a great deal and watching a lot of film just on knowing where to be when you don't have the ball, and that's kind of a skill in itself. And just really reading the defense and learning the game. Even, you know, in today's practice, I'm really breaking things down so we're not just out there playing, but really having a purpose and understanding what the defense is giving us. And I think that's just a big learning curve for us right now, just from an IQ standpoint, and really having an understanding of what reads to make.
And you mentioned the spacing. How nice has Marley Johnson been? She's been one of the best shooters in the CCAA. Just, she provides kind of the shooting aspect that no one else on the team does. How big has that been for you guys?
It's been great, and you know, she had a couple games there where she didn't shoot as well as she would have liked to, and that she's capable of. And you know, one thing I love about Marley is she has a short-term memory. At least from the outside, that's what it looks like. And I'm always just encouraging her to shoot the next one. You know, if she goes 2 for 10, she goes 2 for 10. I personally. Not that I don't care, but I want her to stay confident, and I want her to take every open shot she has. Some nights it's just going to be like that. So I was really happy that she got back in the groove of things and really had a great night for us against San Francisco State. And as you mentioned, she certainly stretches the floor for us, which when you have people like Millie Long, that really helps because it opens up driving lanes for Millie.
And how big of a game is this Thursday against Monterey? They've struggled in conference. A chance to kind of get you guys back to 500 in CCAA play.
Well, as you can see, just following our conference, I mean, every week, you know, it's just going to be, what determines who makes this conference tournament. You know, it's not going to come down to the last week, or, you know, even if it does, I'm trying to get the team to understand that every game is so critically important. And here we are, we're fortunate to be back home this week with Monterey Bay and Stanley, and you know, as us in the coaching world, you say take care of home, and if you can go 500 on the road. Well, we got some catch up to do because we didn't go 500 on these last 5 games. So certainly one game at a time. Right now our total focus is Monterey Bay, but we definitely got to take care of home this week.
And you guys haven't played a ton of home games yet this season, but you guys haven't lost at home either. What do you think makes this team successful at home?
You know, that's a great question. I mean, obviously feeding off of the crowd from a comfort standpoint, being in our own arena. That's why they say, you know, it takes a lot more toughness to win on the road. There's so many different variables that come into play. But again, just the comfort of being in Lumberjack Arena. Obviously, we love it. The fans, the crowd, the support. I mean, they all provide energy for us as well. And hopefully we can continue that on Thursday night.
I'm curious on like the realization aspect of this team realizing that they're a defensive first team. Did you know that coming in that, hey, we're going to compete on offense and do what we can, but this defense is going to be our bread and butter. When did you realize that, and how was that as a team come to that realization?
Well, that's just always kind of been my philosophy, and it's kind of a balance because, to be honest with you, I'm always one that's encouraging to shoot the ball. So it's not like I'm not offensive minded as well, but I just know sometimes the offense isn't always going to fall for you on nights, and so I think the defensive end is something that we have total control over, and it's just something that has to be a constant and that we have to rely on, and then let the offense come. But I love giving our girls the green light as long as we're sharing the ball. I want them shooting the ball with a lot of confidence. But yes, the intensity in stopping other teams is certainly a focal point.
And with the winter break kind of sandwiched in the middle of the conference schedule, how has it been coming back from that, coming back from the holidays, and then hopping back into these high-level focus games?
Right, it's always a tough time. I think us coaches, just naturally are very paranoid individuals. At least I am. I know that. And so taking that break is always a little bit nerve-wracking. But to be honest with you, everybody in the conference does it. So you're on, even playing fields. But we came back, and that first night was always just getting your legs back and enjoying sharing stories of the Christmas break, so on and so forth. But then it's business. And I was really happy with the girls. We went really hard that week. I pushed them really hard that week leading up to the Chico game, and I thought they responded pretty well to the practices.
And with these last few weeks of conference play coming up, I guess it's more like a month, but still, what are some things that you think this team needs to accomplish to be able to make the CCAA tournament? Just some critical aspects that could make or break this season for you guys.
Obviously, and I just talked about this today, just being consistent in certain areas, and the deficiencies that we had, back in November, we can't have in January. That's just called growth and improving as a team. And so, that's something that I've really been just kind of trying to be creative and find different ways to get my message across to the team, because there are some areas that we are still having some slippage in, and that we were in November. And to me, that's on me. That's my responsibility, because it's my job to get them to improve and progress. And so just taking a little bit of a different approach in certain areas, whether it be with individuals or even collectively as a team. But obviously we have a lot of conference games left. It's early in the season, but not so early. Like it's time. We need to be way more consistent.
Absolutely.
Coach, I just have one quick question. You are 3-4 in conference right now, and as we kind of talked about a lot today already in this press conference, there's been a few games that you wish you had back where you could easily have maybe had a good fourth quarter. Instead of shooting 30%, you shoot 40%, you win that game. Now, what is it like as a coach, and from maybe a player's mindset too, to know that you're in 7th right now in the conference, just one seed out of the conference tournament, but you're 3-4, and the teams above you 4-3, and then a couple 5-2 teams, but you could easily be right there in 2nd or even contending for the top spot in conference. Struggling a little bit as of lately, but you grab the momentum back, and you're still really, in my opinion, you could easily be top 3 right now in conference. What is that like, the mindset of the team and for you as well as a coach? Yeah,
well, I'm not even really talking about that per se, as far as the actual standings and only being one game out. I don't think that would be wise on my part. Obviously the girls, I'm sure they look at it, but more importantly, it's just, are we progressing from game to game? And as you just alluded to, we've had some struggles there in the fourth quarters of games, and we've talked a great deal about this. I've done some different things in practice, and unfortunately, I feel like the same thing happened this last week at the East Bay game, where we were struggling offensively, but we after watching film, we just had a lot of defensive mistakes there down the stretch, and you just can't have that to win games. And I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Overall, we're really an inexperienced team. And as far as having a collective group playing at this level and playing together, so it's just a lot of teaching and explaining on my end, and I just, the hope is obviously that little by little that the team grasps this, then we can just continue to improve.
All right, thanks, Coach, and good luck this week at home.
Great, thank you.